now. 3, 2, 1. Just when I say one, just hit the record. So, what's up, everybody? We got a very special edition of High Off the Glass today, Rona Chronicles. Y'all see it. You see where we are. We have some very special guests today. We have GDC in the house, Global Dank Commission. We got some members from that community. We got some smart people that's going to talk about some serious issues that are going on today in the world. First thing, I want to give it over to my boy, GDC, God's Perfect Moron, Brandon. I'm going to have him do his little normal how he kicks off everything. You know, we're going to let you guys know what we're going to do today because we're going to talk about what's been happening in these streets. Moron, start it off, bro.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. First things first. Well, I'm actually kind of messing this up right now because it's a little out of pocket. But family, it is Saturday, and just from me to everybody else, thank you all for being here. Thank you for wanting to be a part of this conversation, and thank you for wanting to bring out your voice, specifically on the topic we're about to talk about. So family, as always, let's get high.
Okay.
Toast.
Now, as always, family, and in honor of the one and only Ad Spaghetti, tokes for you, tokes for me, friends in cannabis we shall be. And now that we're smoking some weed, family, let's all live happily.
Yes. I love how this man does it. That's how it starts off all these videos. He is one of the reasons. We're here to talk about everybody. We're here to talk about police brutality that's been going on in this country for centuries. We're here to talk about systematic racism and white supremacy. I feel I have a problem with all three. I feel like all three should end. I wanted to have a real conversation with people that did not look like me. I wanted to have a conversation with different folks to get their point of view. And I love that we have, I want to go down the list that we have on the show. We got attorney Justin Goldman, 420 Yoga in the house, y'all. We got Bears fan, he's here in the next thing. We got Clara James in the house today. Shout out to her.
What's
we got
up?
Dare,
Just start. Just
you gotta get an easier name, girl.
yeah, just stars.
Jay Fuzz.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, that's what's up. I missed all that. We got Jay Fuzz in the house. What up, Jay Fuzz? And my homie on the low, Padre Puff. What up, homie?
Peace and love, brother.
Right there. So, so many different places to start at. I think the number one. I'm gonna tell y'all like this. This is how this conversation really got birthed. This is the genesis of it. I was really upset since everything that's been going on in the last couple of weeks since Memorial Day, since damn the pandemic, with police brutality. I didn't hardly anybody from GDC really talking about it and really going ham about it. I had conversations with BF and God's Perfect Moron and Jonathan. I had conversations with these folks on and off my show, and we had really good conversations. But I didn't see any representation on Twitter, you know, and I want to see it in front. So I went to the man about it, you know, went to a moron about it. He talked to me and him had a real conversation about it. And he said there was, you know, the same way. And there's different things that he wanted to talk about. And I want to talk to all of y'all about it because I love with this round of police brutality, I see more Caucasians out than ever before. Like, I love that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't change this shit by ourselves. And by the way, this is my beautiful wifey. I've never been on high off the glass before. Wifey in the house.
Hello, beautiful.
Rave, everybody. Say what's up to the Rave.
Hey, sweetheart. Peace and love.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
So yeah, I'd love to see y'all, but would just love to get, let's start. I mean, go ahead, Moron. Start it off. Like, what's the deal? Like, your point of view.
Well, all right. As some of you know, last night I actually decided to go live and put up a live tweet specifically from the Global Dank Commission page, and that was right after our conversation. Which actually, that reminds me, there's still a picture. There's still a, if you remember the picture that you got to take while we were in the middle of that conversation, it was actually very funny. I believe you tweeted about it as well, but I still haven't had a chance to put up a tweet about it just yet. It's been a pretty long day, but the bottom line is for me is that, look, based on where I was raised and based on the amount of hate that I grew up in, not only just from
Tell the folks where you was raised at again for people that don't know.
well, so I was raised in South Florida, down near Miami, North Miami, South Fort Lauderdale. All right, and ultimately the general population there during the late 80s, or I'm sorry, during the early 80s up until the early 90s when we left from there, was predominantly Hispanic. There were very few white families. There were very few African American families. And as far as the issue of race went, well, so I'll put it this way: like every Thursday, everybody in the Latin community would go pick on everybody from the African American. They left the whites alone that day. But Friday was Cracker Day. So if you were white, I get this. Now here's what's funny, okay? Because on Friday, on Cracker Day, here's what's funny. Like, you would see the same dudes that were just beating down on each other, like the same Latino dudes that were just beating up on the African American community, beating up on the same, together, beating up on the white dude. Interesting. It was very interesting. And this is what I grew up in. Even more so. So that's one aspect. But at the same time, all right, the presence of law enforcement officials where I grew up, even as a Caucasian, I have never in my life felt protected and served. If that makes any sense. You and I last night, we were talking about it. The movie Transformers, the very first one, they had that Decepticon car. And on that car, on the back, instead of saying to protect and serve, it said to enslave and punish. And I'll tell you what, they hit that shit right on the nail.
I've never noticed that before. I'll have to watch the movie.
Something you guys might want to take a look into. I mean, again, these guys, Michael
That's
Bay,
disgusting.
right? Wasn't it Michael Bay that decided that was the director of that? I'm almost positive it was him and those guys and the producers that decided to write that on the side of that vehicle. They were trying to prove a point.
Yeah.
That is Michael Bay. It is a Michael Bay film.
Which movie?
Well,
Yeah, it is.
now, let me also share this. One of the main reasons why I feel that way. All right, there was an altercation that broke out in front of my home, and it just so happened that it was like a Saturday evening. We were doing some yard work. We had left a square head, flathead shovel in the front yard. Okay, and during the altercation, the police showed up. They tried to subdue this guy. And they couldn't do it by their own physical force. And so it just so happened that, like, where they're doing this is right here on my front lawn. One of the officers reached over and grabbed the damn shovel. and straight clacked this dude in the right square in the middle of his head. He split him open. Now get this shit, because it happened right here in our front yard. Instead of calling for a paramedic, instead of calling and having an ambulance show up, instead of calling emergency services and that kind of thing, I don't know what all this background noise is.
What's all that noise in the background? Yeah. I can't hear.
Yeah, mute yourself if you're like making noise, please.
Again, the officer cracked this man's head open. He's a white dude, Caucasian. Cracked his head open. And again, instead of calling for a paramedic or an ambulance or calling for emergency services, the two officers that were involved in the altercation stood in front of our home and actually made our parents sign a consent waiver form to say that they saw nothing.
That doesn't mean anything. There's no consent waiver forms.
Right.
That's bullshit.
Oh, no, there is. There
I mean,
is.
they may have a form they put together, but I will destroy that.
But you understand. So you understand what I'm talking about, that form. They made them sign.
No, I don't, because that's unconstitutional. And
but they sat there for an hour and a half. They sat there for an hour and a half and let the man bleed out in the back of the car.
It's disgusting.
That's the other point. And again, I am 5 years old when this happened.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So not once ever have I ever felt protected and served by law enforcement. Every time I see a cruiser behind me or even next to me, I get nervous as all get out, because I've seen what they're capable of. I've seen what this abuse of power, I see what they're capable of. We've all seen it. We've all seen it for decades. I've been around for 40 years.
Brandon, that's my question. I want to, and you mentioned that in the video you did yesterday. You've seen stories, you've seen stuff like this. You've witnessed incidents like this time and time again. Then why weren't you more vocal, with the voice that you have? Because you have a great voice. Why weren't you more vocal with that on Twitter? And I literally asked that to,
With that, I would 100% agree. Ultimately, and this is just in my defense, like ultimately over the course of the last couple of weeks, BF can attest to it as well. I have been in different shows, different podcasts. I've been doing different smoke sessions with the family. Like my time has actually been occupied because I have to show my face as the founder of the GDC with this. I have to be there. And so when I get an invite to a sesh from somebody from IMGDC Canada or from IMGDC Mexico or from the UK, and I'm sitting here, I kind of feel obligated to be like, you know what, I need to be there for that. And so honestly, that's where I've been. Now at the same time, I mean, I have my family life, I have my job life. My job typically consumes 8 to 10, sometimes 12 hours a day. And that pulls me away from being able to sit down and actually produce my voice. And so again, like, my hat one more time goes off to you, because you inspired me enough to actually finally go live, and even more so host it as if, and I even said it in the beginning of my live tweet from the Global Dank Commission account, that you may as well assume that there are microphones in front of me and that this is a press conference that I am holding, because this is my view. And this is my view. So in other words, the other members of the GDC may not feel the same way. They may feel the exact same way, but this is my view. And at least now I am going to use our platform at the Global Dank to actually put my voice out there.
The only thing I would say is, in reading the tweets and retweets and what people are chatting about on the Twitter in the pod community, cannabis community, it doesn't seem like people want to talk about social issues. They just want to play. So I feel like sometimes it might be the wrong venue for it. It's another thing too. I mean, because it's an escape for me in the pot community from my other Twitter account, which is all vitriol and hate and shit, where people are bringing up everything that's happening, and it just is the worst. You see the worst of Twitter, you see the worst of people, So that's
Yeah.
the only thing that. So I mean, as far as it's not posting it in our cannabis community groups and stuff, I think that's also part of it. I think it's, but and again, that's just my opinion. I think that might be.
Well,
It's funny to me that you use your cannabis Twitter as your escape from your regular Twitter.
Well, I use it for
police-
marketing too, but
Okay. But police brutality has been affecting marijuana for how long?
Since the 1920s, I think.
That's crazy.
39.
No, you know what? And I use my platform as a lawyer because I actually have more followers as that. I use that to actually discuss. I mean, I haven't been on that because I've been doing this 420 yoga thing, but that's where I'll talk about real issues. But I have to be fair. I have to be very careful about expressing opinions and what I say and how I say it because we're held to a higher standard than anyone else, than other people tweeting, called a public citizen, whatever that means. So I can be scrutinized for arguing with people and for getting into arguments online. So I'm just kind of
scrutinized.
prohibited, unfortunately, as a lawyer because we have people watching us basically. And
Give a quick rundown.
I know what you mean there.
It says attorney Jonathan Goldman. What do you do exactly? Like real
I do
quick,
criminal defense in Chicago. Everything from shoplifting to murder. My last jury was a murder case, and my last trial was I get a bunch of gun trials. I take a lot of cases to trial, and that's it. So I've been doing for 12 years now. That's all I know how to do. So I defend people who are charged with crimes in Cook County. So.
That's crazy. Padre, go ahead. You want to say something, Padre?
Oh, I was going to say that although, yes, I actually have people who follow what I do because of the fact that I am clergy. I say exactly what I want to, and I have been past couple weeks and over the years since I've been. I'm very, very vocal, and I'm also a member of NORML to, get the reform on the marijuana. But as far as the different injustice with anyone, as long as you're not Anglo-Saxon in this country, it's been something that I've been talking about most of my life.
You can't avoid it. I mean, obviously, I'm in a different position because I am on the side of the people who are charged with crimes, and
Right.
all my clients are Black and Hispanic, and that's the way it's been. That's just the way it is, and not. But it's not the way it has to be. But it goes back so far. But I almost have taken it as a given that yes, the system is racially biased. The system is not, but it gets more macro than that. But even on a micro level, we've got. I don't know. It's at some point we've almost gotten to a point of no return where what are you going to do to retrain all the cops and make them different people, or take away the stereotypes and understanding? Because okay, so there's an area with more crime, and there's an area so there's more cops there, and more people who get arrested, and most people who get arrested there are Black because that happens to be a Black neighborhood, and that's just the way the city is. And it's it's the way our city is very segregated. So but at the same time, there's so many systemic factors that I have no control over. I don't have control over the family, and intact families and schooling and mentors and good role models and that type of thing. That I get them. By the time I get people, sometimes it's too late, and it's unfortunate. And I see it. There's no question in my mind that the policing in the United States is biased against non-white people. It's for white people. The cops will go do anything for white people. And if you're not white, you're a second-class citizen, whether or not they, sometimes they don't even walk the beats anymore. Like, they don't get to know the neighborhoods. So, yeah, but if I have a problem, they'll come racing over. So.
Right. With quickness.
I think because you are an attorney, that is a great platform to use for the injustices that are.
Yeah.
Criminal lawyer, and most of the clients are African American and Latino. That's a great platform right there where you could share with your counterparts who may be different.
And we talk, we do amongst defense attorneys. It is always. Is that a torch, CJ?
Yes.
I could hear it.
Sorry, I'm taking dabs.
No, it's okay. But no, we absolutely talk about it. I mean, that's one of the things that we discussed. But it kind of has gotten to the point for some boots on the ground attorneys who are actually doing this stuff. Sorry, it is we've discussed it, and it's almost like we've discussed it ad nauseum, and we're still fighting it every day. And so it's hard to get riled up like I used to be, because now it's just like we're just fighting this fight, and it's like this is just where we are, and then we're losing right every
Riled up now. I want to hear from Jake Buzz. Jake Buzz, what are you doing? Where do you fall on this? On what's been happening?
Myself, I'm in Oshawa, Canada, actually.
Okay.
And
what province are you close to?
Pardon me?
What province is that? What are you close to?
I'm in Ontario,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's not a lot going on here, but Toronto, peaceful protests. Montreal, they've got not really peaceful protests, but where do I stand on it? I'm growing up, and throughout my life, I've been kind of pro just love and peace and all that. My friends have all been every skin color, you know what I mean? So I've never had any issues that way. So all of this, in general doesn't really make sense, but it does.
I think this whole thing was a combination of being cooped up from the coronavirus and then having an incident that was terrible and sparked a reason for protest. That's why people took it to extra.
This is because this has been going on forever.
Yeah,
because of a recent incident. This has been going on forever.
No,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. This round of
every
protests
day.
where they're destroying my beautiful city. I mean, it happened just the perfect storm of shit. You know. Can I say that? I'm sorry.
I see it happening all the time, right? So, and it kills me to see it, and I see all the videos and pictures and whatnot and posts on Twitter, and that kills me. I don't personally retweet all the negative stuff and all of that because that's not really what I want to put out. As you've noticed, my whole thing is kind of the peace, love, and all that, if that makes sense. I do like posts on other people's. You know what I mean?
And you've seen racial discrimination where you live in Ontario. You've seen police brutality, haven't you?
100%, 100%. And the police, I'm not pro police. They don't do anything for me. I've had issues here in my building. My building's trying to kick me out right now for my cannabis and other reasons. That's a whole nother topic. But yeah, and the police have done nothing for me. So yeah, it happens all over the world, and I understand it.
Now,
and like I said, it breaks my heart.
Sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go on.
Can I ask when you say the police have done nothing for me? Are we saying we're not saying every interaction with every cop has been bad? I mean,
no, I'll get involved once you're done talking.
But
yeah, I have something to say about that.
I mean, I'm just asking. I mean, and again, I'm a defense lawyer, so I have no apologies for the police. But I'm saying, I mean, do you notice a difference in the way they treat you versus the way they would treat a black guy in your situation? Or are there,
Myself?
Yeah.
Every time I've had to deal with them, say here in my building,
yeah,
they haven't helped.
Assholes in general.
They haven't helped me. It's almost as if they don't want to do reports.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and shit like that, which is ridiculous. Like,
see, I get white privilege all the time. All the time.
Okay.
It gets handed to me, and I just have it.
They may not help still here, and there's plenty of there. And I work for the city of St. Louis. I'm an educator.
Okay.
And there are plenty of cities in my city, St. Louis, where the police are not called because they may not come to the situation with a helping hand.
Right.
They're coming to the already defensive.
Yeah.
So,
they already have an idea of what they want to happen and who's responsible.
And the families are already apprehensive to police anyway because of how they're going to react to what they know and happening on the news across the country, across the
and
world.
that's and unfortunately that's only what we see on the news too. I'm sorry.
1 minute.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
That's okay. Can I remember your name to the guy who was in Canada? Jay Fuss. I'm sorry, to Jay Fuss about them not being very helpful in your building. And you're right, they're not very helpful when they come to certain neighborhoods or whatever. But do you feel like you're going to die? Like that's the point that needs to be addressed now. Like, do you feel like you're going to die? Like when they come to your building, do you feel like there's a chance that you might not make it for the next 10 years? Because
right.
You mean on a regular basis?
That's what we feel.
And I don't get. Yeah, and I never have to experience that. I've never experienced it.
Well, I can tell you firsthand that I got to a point where I was getting emails from the police officers involved.
Are these specific cops?
The police officers involved telling me what I should do, you know, like the specific things I should do.
That's shady
from them. You know, because they couldn't help me. They said that my case was closed and stuff like that. Meanwhile, I had been attacked in my own apartment, and two 65-year-olds neighbors had been attacked as well. So that's the way police work in my area.
Well,
so
what
yeah,
happened with that situation? Did you got attacked and did they come help?
They came and they actually said that they were going to charge myself and charge the two 65-year-olds as well, which is absolutely ridiculous. All we did was basically, I put my hands back. I didn't lay one hand, and I got hit.
They have the
So,
ultimate power. That's what it is.
it's so ridiculous.
They have the state behind them. The government's behind them.
No sense at all. But that's how they police. That's how they police. But it's not.
Right.
The good
Doesn't mean it's acceptable.
at
We'll
all.
see. Like I said,
Bingo.
Ray makes a
Not
perfect point. Ray makes a perfect point. The fact that when you call them, you don't have to worry. Oh my God! Will the situation flip, and
I
then
get
they'll be
shot,
on
yeah.
me.
Right.
Like you don't have to.
And I don't
worry
have
about
that. I don't have to worry about that. I know they'll come in 5 minutes.
Charge all of you. That makes no
Yeah.
sense. But exactly,
Right.
exactly. Padre, what were you
Exactly.
gonna say, Padre?
Sorry, I'm just
Well,
talking. Go ahead.
you want to talk about recent, or you want me to go back through history? Because I can do both. You want to talk? Okay, we'll talk about what's been going on just the past 5 to 10 years, brother. And then
No.
you want to.
Let's keep it to what's been going on in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Let's
All
keep it
right.
the last few
Yeah, the
Okay, I'll
reaction,
tell
the
you that.
reaction, and the police
Yeah.
brutality.
Now,
or
okay.
incident.
All right, I'll go on from there. That's what I wanted to ask. Now, see, over here, one of the things is, to begin with, now I'm not going to say every single cop I've encountered, but I've had more negative than positive experiences. I was actually on my way to do a funeral for my dead grandfather. I was dressed in my clergy attire. I was stopped. 2 female cops actually went through the whole thing. I mean, I have a gun to my head and all these things. This is already after I changed my ways, brother. So, I mean, and yeah, it happens a lot. I'm not going to say 90% of the time, but it's, you got some good people that are there, but like everything else, you got some of the bad ones that some of them don't say anything else about because they've been there a while. Others just, you know, the few that do try and do something are usually not the
Tell
ones
the
that
folks
stay.
where you at. Tell the folks where you're at right now.
All right, I'm in the southwest area right now. I'll tell you, I'm in New Mexico in Las Cruces. I'm from El Paso, Texas, where I grew up. You know, we had Fort Bliss here. So the thing was that different races, I mean, I went to school with everybody. That was just the thing. Now, start going around and yeah, you see the differences right away. But the way many are treated, or certain places you don't go into, especially after dark, depending on color of your skin. And, you know, it's just one of those things. And they continue, and everybody knows, you know, 90% of the time, it's going to take a while for them to get there because they're always busy helping other people.
Helping people who make it financially more incentivized to be doing what they're doing. So they're doing what the department.
Not me.
I said it. I'm saying it as a lawyer, as a person.
Right.
But they will
I know.
absolutely they will do the things that they're incentivized to do because people respond to incentives and responding to exactly. I mean, it's financial at some level, which is frightening actually. But then you've got, I mean, and then cops who refuse to go in certain areas, you know, to help to assist, and then having to worry about, they're going to think that me as the 911 caller is the suspect, and I'm outside. This guy's pushing me. They're not going to. What you know? What that's a terrifying thought. And you know, and it feels like, based on all the coverage, and I don't know the stats, it feels like, you know, it feels in general like it's happening a lot, but I don't think it's happening at the rate we think. I mean, there's not homicides that often, but there's so many smaller versions that happen all the time, every day. I mean, the behind the scenes part, I mean, the way the cops treat my clients, you know, it's almost inhuman. I mean, and it's you know, it's I don't know. It's not something that it's not something that's really tough to understand, but it's still tough to understand how it works.
Well, I
How you
can
actually
even
do it
go
as a
further.
person.
Right. See, over here in this area, the protests have been peaceful, yet you had 1,000 protesters in El Paso, Texas, and they come out and say, they've already identified everyone within 2 days of the protest, and you had riot cops there, with flashbangs, and they were all set up, and they came out and said the protesters who were there, no rioting happened. Protesters that were there were either going to get fined or face penalties. Now, within the past 2 days, a Hispanic man put in a chokehold and killed by a police officer in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Now, hasn't come out on the news anywhere because stuff like this happens all the time. They made a bigger deal around this area because of everything that's starting to bubble over on the surface.
That right there is the stuff I'm talking about. I wanted to hear, we haven't heard from Clara Jane yet. I wanted to hear her take on this. I know she has something to say about this. Claire, what's your point of view on this and what's been happening?
Well, I'm here. I personally have no idea what's going to go on. My personal views, I'm disgusted by everything. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona?
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm in what is known as really racial territory.
Right.
Right. So I've seen everything. I've seen protests. I've seen fighting. I've seen the looting, the rioting. I went into foster care at a really young age, and I was adopted by an African-American family. And I'm going to get emotional and start crying. For me to see what's going on and to think that this is the way that my father could be being treated, or my sisters, it makes me sick. It makes me really sick. I wake up every morning and I just see more of it. I see it online. I see it in person. I hear from everyone around me, and it makes me sick. It really does. And I'm sorry that I'm getting so emotional. I'm just so I'm so angry about it. And for me, being a white woman and trying to speak up on this, I'm taken as a joke. No one wants to listen to me. They think it's a joke, or you don't side with us. But for me, I see brothers and sisters. I see love for all colors, and I'm pissed. I'm pissed, and I don't want to hear about it no more. I don't want to see it no more. That's what I think of it.
Right.
I'm so sorry to be emotional, but that's all I think of it.
Do you, girl? Do you?
Yeah, you do not have to be sorry for that. Hey y'all, we're here to talk about this shit and invent if you have to, and possibly come up with a solution if we can, or come up with something that we can do personally moving forward to help end this bullshit. And if you got to get emotional, ain't nothing wrong with that. Oh, nobody needs to apologize at all. You know what I'm saying? Darnez over there in Canada. Tell us where you at. Where in Canada you at, and how do you feel about this? What have you witnessed in your life that goes along with this? Or do you not agree with it, or what?
So much. In the little community that I live in, outside of Windsor, I'm in outside of Windsor, Ontario, but we're a border city with Detroit, and I worked for the last 15 years in Detroit, previous to my medical retirement. So I've seen a lot more problems with, altercations with police and inner city people than I ever want to admit. But I've seen it at a younger age in Canada with what the government was doing to the indigenous people here. So we learned we learned a bit about it. Even though for the most part in my little rural little suburb outside of Windsor, we have a pretty good community here. You know, it's in, you know, Amherstburg, Anderton, Malden, LaSalle, you know, Essex, Kingsville, Harrow, you know, all these communities, Leamington, where, you know, all the farms are and stuff, you know, everybody pretty much works together, and police, fire, EMS, we interchanged a lot. So the police here, like, you know, we have a lot of community affiliates, you know, and like first responders and stuff from different factions. And for here, it's not too bad. But you know what, for what's going on all over, you know, in the US right now, you know, it hurts me, it cuts me huge. You know, I have to check in with my family in California, you know, every once in a while. I make sure, you know, we send each other the thumbs up on the messenger because I don't have Facebook anymore, you know. But my mom's brother was Navy, and he was a dual citizen, and he was stationed out of San Francisco, and he married my aunt, and she was a beautiful, wonderful woman from down in Mexico, and they had 3 children, and those were my first cousins. And then my first cousins grew up and they got married, and my first cousin married a lovely man out of San Francisco.
I hear you. I know you got a big family tree, but my question was, have you seen any protests in your area? And if so,
No, only in
joined?
Toronto. Only in Toronto after that 23-year-old black girl fell off of the apartment balcony a week and a half ago. That was the big protest in Toronto last week, yes.
What the hell was that? What was that?
Oh, that was recent.
Yeah, perpetrators have a history of falling off of balconies in Toronto, my brother. And it's very, very sad.
Domestic
Yeah.
violence related.
What?
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this.
Perps go flying.
It sounds like all of you guys are for the cause. What about your family members? Are people that you talk to that are not for the cause? How do you interact with them? Like, how do you share your feelings with them? Hoping it will cause some change in them, or hoping that you know, they will see how you feel or be able to be more empathetic to the situations. Because, like, one of my closest friends, her and I talk a lot, and she tells me how she has to. It's funny, like she says, I have to be the voice of reason for my friends and my family because they feel so differently than her.
Of course, she's white. So.
And so,
Right.
how does there work? I'm black, so we all feel the same way. So I can't but I'm saying for other people, like I have friends from all different races, and I just want to hear like what you guys think. Like, how do you influence your family if they feel differently than you guys?
Well, you know, I've always been vocal about it, you know, no matter what.
We have it different here because we're having real you know, they've gotten it to a point where the protests are now peaceful protests and actually potentially something that can be thrown off of. But we've had so much looting and property destroyed that it's definitely divided the community. Because, you know, for the people up here on the north side, white people, you know, you only see what you see on the news. But I mean, in reality, the movement of Black Lives Matter is they cover you can occasionally see the good stuff in the big picture where there's actual, you know, people that are protesting as part of their constitutional right. But then there's just the small group that's just causing problems, and it's frustrating for everyone. And so that's the problem in Chicago.
How much was damaged? What was damaged in what neighborhoods?
Well, first of all, it was the State Street, which is the main street in Michigan Avenue. The storefronts from one end to the other were all smashed in and looted. These were all old Macy's, like small stores too. And that was downtown. So downtown got smashed. Chicago's downtown, like historic Chicago. You know, from one Macy's to the other Macy's, and then the next.
Businesses on Michigan Avenue.
Yeah, Michigan Avenue, there was a lot of problems, which is right next to two over from State. But State's where all those shops are, so there's a lot of problems on State. And then North Avenue, which is a little further north, which is was pretty well trashed. And the plan was basically there was a meme going out online that was burn down the neighborhoods, and they had all the north side neighborhoods listed, and that was going around like, this is our plan for tonight, we're going to burn down, and that was going on the internet. I mean, we all knew about it, law enforcement knew about it, and so there was protests up on the north sides. What?
Who lives in the north side?
I do.
So wait, so is the north side like that? Is that where predominantly white people live?
Yeah, white and some Hispanic if you go a little further west, but the north side, with the exception of where the protest actually ended, which is a diverse neighborhood more so than the north side. The north side is close to the suburbs. You're right by Skokie, which is historically, there's that KKK march. So it's a lot of white people. So they wanted to go to the neighborhoods, and it says basically burn down the white people's neighborhoods, and that was against the message of the whole.
Well, see, and
protest.
that's the complete difference. Yeah, that's the difference in what's going on, because the protesting is against all the racial inequality that's been going on for over 500 years in this country.
Oh, and this incident,
especially what just happened, right? But at the same time, the looting and the rioting are 100% completely different thing.
Right, and it's different people, yeah. No,
right.
And I was talking earlier about
I mean, even if but that's what I'm saying. The people that are protesting are doing it for the right reason,
and the reason that we have this country, you have the right to petition for redress from your government.
Yeah, but
right
you
to
riot
peaceably
or you
assemble.
loot. Yeah, you do the rioting and the looting, then we're talking about a completely different message, right?
But then we're looking at what narrative is the media showing? What narrative are they saying? What narrative are the politicians showing? And that narrative is designed to I don't know. It's designed to paint all the protesters as one group, as the violent group, and that gets headlines, that gets clicks, that gets views.
I'm gonna say this. I understand there's a difference, but I'm gonna tell you like this: power ever relinquishes power without force.
Nope. Why would they?
A lot of y'all, exactly.
Give it away now, you'll never get it back.
So I'm sorry, and a lot of y'all, and Brandon, I know you probably won't agree, but sometimes something they have to be taken. Sometimes power has to be taken, and the people need to start taking back some of this power that these fucking corporations have, because they have entirely too much of it. Now,
but see,
I'm serious when I said this shit. They have entirely too much of this shit, and we just let them have it. We just let them.
That's the problem.
40 hours a fucking week, 60 hours a week, whatever the fuck we can. We just fucking take.
Because it's tradition. It's tradition. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Y'all think I give a fuck about Macy's, Target?
No, I don't either.
And what is it? Tiffany Co. All those rich ass fucking burnt down and looted. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. My people built this fucking country for free, and still having our 40 acres and a mule. So I don't give a fuck. Another thing that needs to happen is that.
Well, see, at least your people were offered that, brother.
For that, because those are the ones that are oppressing us. Those are the ones that are oppressing that police. Man, that police station. Those are the people that are oppressing us. So you don't attack your community. You go at the people that are oppressing you. Okay, that's what the fuck they did, and I don't have a problem with it. I'm so happy that they did it, but I don't agree with just taking shit that don't belong to you. But one thing I do agree with, if you want power in this country, you have to. They're not going to give it to you. They're not going to give it to you.
And as
we
far
can have peace and love and all that. We can have peace and love. Love have a security force. They need to have a security force with peace and love. Literally.
Right. At what the question for them is, at what point does it become a revolt or an uprising, and when do they get to go from guarding mode to this is a revolt? We're military. We're not gonna, and they are very quick to pull the trigger on going military, and injuring citizens. But that the powerful are gonna do what they have to do to stay in power. That's what.
Like dumping bricks on the street corners.
That's not
baiting
verified.
the protesters.
Yeah, that's
well,
not,
I don't know. I've seen
confirmed.
2 or 3 different videos. I don't know if it's true or not, but I thought it was.
There's a lot of information going out that's not true, but we don't know yet because we're right in the middle of it.
Chaos, having agents of chaos throughout the peaceful protest. You have agents of chaos starting bullshit that's not a part of it.
Right.
They're just people there literally to start bullshit and fuck up the peaceful protest.
Right. And their agenda is not.
And see, that's what I was getting at. That's what I was talking about. And see, when you said that, you were talking about being promised the 40 acres and a mule. I mean, mine weren't even offered that, brother, because I'm more Native American than anything else. So, I mean, they just said, we're taking it from you. You're going to work. You're going to be slaves. You're going to do this. And then moved them off to the res and killed them off. The rest of them, same thing, got brown skin. So they were slaves, just like the African Americans and the Chinese who were brought over. We were all just labor.
That's true, Padre. And I literally don't want to go in a back and forth about who would suppress more, because that won't get us anywhere. But literally,
no, of course not.
Some of y'all people have been taken care of financially. They giving y'all reservations in y'all land. You kept your native language. You kept your native tradition. You kept your place of being. Not all of it, because they took most of it, but you kept something and they gave you your land, and you were able to build and make these casinos and get paid.
Now, see, I didn't, brother. Not my people, but yeah.
This isn't a handout. This is shit that we fucking earned. We built this goddamn country. We built it, and we were never compensated. All we were was killed and treated like shit. That's all they did to us. They killed us, treated us like shit, divided us. They divided and conquered within the black community, and did the same thing with the rest of us. They made Asians, Native Americans, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, white folks, all of us hate each other for no motherfucking reason. Why? Just another thing to take our money. That's all they really want, is for us to kill each other so they could just get our money. That's all they really want, y'all. That's all it's about.
It's politicians.
So for the corporations,
All right. All right, is my microphone fucking working?
Yeah, you're on, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead,
Check.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
All
ahead,
right.
bro.
No. They don't want your money. Okay? Get that out of your mind right now. They don't want your money.
So,
What you need to understand, and I tell Tokyo this, and I mean nobody any disrespect or whatsoever, but what you guys need to understand is they did not ever bring you here to be equals. And I tell Tokyo this all the time. And I'm sorry for the way that comes out, because I am Mexican and Native American. They pushed us out too. They did not allow us to be equals either. So this does not come.
Me and BF are in the same boat.
Okay, let me talk. Yeah. I shut up for a long time. Anyways, they did not bring you guys here to be equals. They did not bring your ancestors here to be equals. They brought you here to be less than them. So to ask them now to treat you as equals, some of them cannot let go of the fact that you were never supposed to be that, and it hurts. And I understand, and I tell you, okay, look, over here where I live, we're mostly Mexicans, okay? So, and I tell Tokyo this, we are the black people of where I live, because there's not enough of y'all for them to fuck with, so it's us, okay? So, and I tell them all the time that make no mistake about it, Latinos understand that if they ever get their wish and eradicate you, we are the very next fucking ones to go. Because it's not like they're gonna give us some kind of magical pass that says, oh, okay, now you guys can stay. Yeah, right. Look at what's going on. Look at with the wall and all this bullshit, okay? But you have to understand that racism and what's going on in society, as far as a society that is allowed to police itself, these two are separate issues that have now clashed.
Yeah.
But they're not exactly the same, because we live in a society where human beings are allowed to police other human beings, and it's in their name, and it's wrong. If they were there to help serve, like they say, to protect and serve, that's not what you see. What you see is the police. And the police come as a human being to tell another human being the way it's going to fucking be. Because they have the law and the state and the government all on their side. This is how they continue. This is how they get away with this shit. So
the problem is you have to keep society running. As it develops, develops some sort of law enforcement mechanism in the way.
There are other countries where their police do not act like our police.
Yes, absolutely.
Because their police are there to serve the people. They are there to serve the community. I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
There is law, but there are other examples where the people and their law enforcement serves their community. They do not send them out there to police and control the way they do here in the United States.
That's the word, control. That's what it is. Control.
I have been pulled over. We got chased, and if you've ever listened to the show, I don't know how many. We got chased down to where we live right now because I could no longer live in the city where I lived in because like I said, we are the black people around here. I fit the fucking profile of the people who are bad. I used to get pulled over all the time just because I look like what's supposed to be bad. So we had to literally move so that I could get away from that and just live. I was a fucking mailman. I worked for the United States government and would get pulled over because I look like somebody who, yeah. So I know what this shit is like, and it's all just because we allow human beings to police other human beings, and it's wrong. The system is set up here wrong. The system, prisons make money.
Yes.
That's wrong.
Correct.
Because that only entices people to bust people.
The prison industrial complex is the truth.
Yes, and so this only this is a money issue. And well, everybody knows here that, well, they're not going to throw Whitey in jail because look at our Congress, our Congress is shaping up, but look at our Senate. That's a better example of what's really going on in this country.
Because Whitey pays more taxes in general, and so they want more money. So it does come down to money at that point too. You know, that's another issue.
It's all about money.
That's all tangential, but yeah.
It's all about money, but that's the point. We live in a society where policing generates money. Mm-hmm. And what we've had recently is, maybe, because I honestly, there's only so much of what happened recently as far as what happened in Minnesota that I find as racial, as much more as I just find as just horrible policing, really.
The police culture, yeah.
Yes. And and while racism has gone on for far too long, obviously, but look at what had to have happened. There is a faction of states that fought a war over the idea of keeping people as slaves. You got to be fucking kidding me, okay? And I'm sorry, I don't know how we roll on your podcast. On mine, I say what I got to say because I'm high. But anyways, we roll in a society where policing people is allowed, and it's wrong. The whole thing, the whole way it's set up is absolutely wrong because it generates money, and that's fucking horrible. And the racism thing, I mean, it has to end. But what you're fighting is just an ideal that when they came here, you were never supposed to be equals. We were never supposed to be equals. We were this was their land. They came here to do them. And it was on only some good-hearted ones of them that realized, hey, this shit is wrong. We can't do this shit. This is wrong. You can't own a person. And there was a whole lot of people that said, you know what? Yeah, we can own a person. Fuck that shit. And look at where we're at. They just can't let go.
I'll tell you right now, I 100% agree with everything you just said. I'm so glad you spoke last because you were so eloquent. One thing I disagree with though is black people, we're not asking shit. We're not asking for you to treat us as the same. We're not asking for shit. We are going to be treated as the same. Like we are here. We are here. We built this motherfucker. We are in time. What the fuck is that? Where the fuck is she going? I'll fall short. Yeah, we live over here. Somebody just popped up. I don't know. But anyway, what's the name? We're not asking to be treated the same. We are going to be treated the same. You're not gonna lessen us, demean us. No matter how you may kill George Floyd, you may kill Arbery Ahmad, you may kill, but you're not gonna kill us all. You're not. We here. You, me, all of us people of color, and all of us like white people that we're talking to right now, that you all understand the struggle somewhat. I hope y'all understand it a little more.
But how do we move forward?
Whatever we're talking about tonight, I think moving forward, I think number one, use your voices more with people of your same color and say, hey, look, what are you want to go protest? Let's go protest. Go protest yourself. You know, if you don't have a protest going on in your area, find one. You know, maybe drive a little bit. You know, talk to that older person in your family that's racist as fuck. You know, or try to talk to people that's your age that you can possibly change. Like, you know, you see the problem, help us. You know, I mean that's all I'm saying. It's not a fucking. So many people have said the same quote. I don't even know who said it first, but it's I think Benjamin Franklin said that people that aren't being affected by pain aren't gonna feel it unless it happens to them, or you know, something like that. Like, come on now. Like shit.
It's something more along the lines of it's not going to change until those who are unaffected feel the way as those who are affected.
Exactly.
Something more along that lines.
Empathy.
Thank you. Brandon, where you at? I want to hear Brandon. I ain't heard this man in a minute. How you doing, man? Hope you ain't mad at me.
All right. And to be honest, I'm mad.
Yeah.
And why am I mad? Forgive me for my voice. First off, I want to say thank you to BF for everything he just said, as well as far as the affliction of the Latin American community ever since the whole thing with Louisiana and the whole purchase of, the whole pushing out of the French movement, that kind of thing, and the whole pushing out of the Spaniards, that kind of thing as well. Listen, family, I hope everybody understands, like, I hope we've all done our history, all right? Because if you really look at things, Padre Puff, you mentioned something as well as far as the Native Americans. paying for it as well. The Native Americans started paying for it back in 1400s when Christopher Columbus got here.
Actually, before that, when the Spaniards got
Before that
here.
as well, but exactly because the Spaniards started it also. But that's what I'm saying. Okay, so it started there. And then about 300 years later, the rest of Europe showed up. Okay.
Exactly.
Once they showed up, a whole new sense of control, and thank you, 420 Yoga, for saying that. And so a whole new sense of control came out. That sense of control has been pressed down on every single person since then. All right, and family, this is the thing. We're about another 300 years since then. Let's also remember that we had a civil war over the rights of people to be able to live like one another. This movement has been going on for 300 years. And finally, we are actually almost at another point of having yet another civil war against power. Because what they want our respect. That's what they want. They fuck our money. They don't want our money. They got enough of that. They got enough of that coming in from all the rest of the bullshit. They want our respect.
They don't give a shit about our respect.
Just hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. They want our respect. They want our respect based on fear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen. One of the other main reasons why I made it a point over the last few weeks to post it off of my own personal account, the positive side of things, the people doing the right things, is because negativity spreads like fucking cancer. And it's what the media wants. The media wants us to continue to post the negative bullshit out there. They want us to continue to show us killing ourselves in the fucking streets. Protesters beating protesters. They want us to continue to show that shit. It's control. They want us to fear them. That's what they want. Fuck our money. They showed up in riot gear because they knew we were going to destroy each other from the inside out. And when that happens, we cause chaos because we are humanity. We will most certainly destroy each other. I said this a few days ago. What if we were all inside the fuck out? What if this was clear? What if we never saw nothing like that and everybody saw everybody for the same as who they were?
That'd be great, but we're not there.
Here's the question. As humanity, would we still find a fucking reason to hate each other because I got brown eyes and you got blue?
Maybe.
Look yourself in the mirror. Look yourself in the mirror and ask you, are you a human fucking being? Because if you're a human being, it shouldn't fucking matter what my eye color is. It shouldn't matter what my fucking skin color is or what my religious beliefs are.
That's right.
Or what my heritage is. None of that shit should fucking matter. We are.
No, it shouldn't, but it does.
No.
We deserve the respect of those that are in authority.
Say what?
They don't deserve our respect. We deserve their respect. And at some point, we as people, as humanity, are going to stand up and say, yo, fuck you. I'm tired of your riot gear.
Wait, hold on. I'm confused, Brandon. So,
It's what
I heard
we've
you.
gone down a path. I mean, it's.
I got a direct question. So I heard you say this in the video earlier. You said they showed up in riot gear just because they assumed. Well, what about in those cities where those cops were smart enough to either join the protest, take a knee, or diffuse the fucking situation? Like they're trained to do. How come in those situations nothing happened? But usually in the ones where they came in riot gear, ready for war, shit happened.
Because escalation breeds escalation.
Of course.
Can I please? All right, because to be honest with you, I didn't share any of those videos. You know why? What's the biggest slap to every single protester right now? Go ahead, slap me in the face, kick me in the nuts. Sit there in front of the media with your knee down because you just killed a fucking human being with your fucking knee down. Get off your fucking knees, man. Come on.
I'm confused what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm confused, bro. Real talk. What are you mad about? What are you mad about?
Look, I am mad at the police for even taking a fucking knee in the first place. You want to be peaceful? Don't show up and riot gear.
Okay.
You want to be peaceful?
That's why I said not all of them, brother, but a
Yeah,
lot
but
of.
that's,
I
but
get that.
think about it.
I understand. Look,
There's reality
What
too.
about
that to me was a slap in the face of every single American who decided to bite in.
There's
Because
reality though.
those officers were on their fucking knees. What just happened to George?
Oh, those.
What do you mean they were on their
I think
knees?
the knee was more so.
They got officers sitting on one knee with their arms up, big smiles, yay, big hearts up against the back of the wall, like we here for you. Get the out of here.
You don't want your
Slap
police
me in
to
the face.
do that?
Slap me in the face again. It's bad enough y'all just took a human life off the face of the planet
They
by
didn't
setting your
all do it.
neck. But now
That's
you're
what I
gonna sit there
said.
and stand in front of everybody and do it again?
But what about a they should give them the cops
No,
said,
at least, hey, look, at least have the balls to stand up and say, I was fucking wrong.
You can't. When you got the police union, you've got political pressure. This, we're living in a reality on reality's terms. We have to. We can't make it ideal for ourselves.
So we gotta change
I'm sorry.
the political movement. We
No,
gotta
don't be sorry.
teach the younger ones a difference.
Right, but we still have to accept reality as it is.
Right.
In
I
order to
mean,
get
until
there.
we can change it, we gotta be
We have to understand it.
doing whatever we can until we can get to that point. Yeah, but it's not gonna happen overnight. You're right.
Oh,
And
no,
the thing
for
is,
sure.
I mean, that's why it's been going on for so long, because the people that are trying to change, you know,
But now
I
there's
mean, we
more.
gotta
There's more
change the
voices
power.
too. There's more
Of course,
outlets. So like
of
social
course.
media.
Yeah, the more
That's
hatred that keeps getting bred, the more you got.
No, I'm saying voices for change. There's more opportunity
Oh, yeah,
to voice
yeah.
for change than there ever was before. Twitter,
Right.
social media. I mean, it changes the game. So you get rid of the narrative that the government or the man wants you to have, or the media. I mean, as a group, there's a lot of power in the group. You know, there's power in numbers, and people have a voice now in a different way that they didn't have before. And people were voiceless. You know, a lot of people didn't have a lot of voice in anything, for government, for life. And now, you know, there is a way for people to have a voice. And so, you know, social media, it's as crazy as it is, and as, you know, as weird as it is really kind of a good equalizer.
While I
in the right
agree with
direction.
you, I agree with you about the people having a voice, but overall, until the power structure of how the United States actually works, the people's voice doesn't mean shit.
I know. We're not really right.
One man, Mitch McConnell, has so much power that he holds up legislation, whether just because he feels like it or not. The idea of how it works here in this country needs to change, and then you can see change all throughout. You know, it'll trickle down as to how it works. It's like I told you, the way they police
political landscape, brother,
could change. The way they police could change. There are
Well,
other
they work
countries
for us.
who do different things. No, they
I mean,
actually
I
don't
know
work for
they
us.
don't act like they do, but they really, at the end of the day, they do.
Let it jump in. Let it
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Here's 2 points that I want to make. The first point is that it has nothing to do with social media, because 1960s, my granddaddy did not have social media when he marched.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's the only thing.
You know, my dad didn't have social media when he marched, so it's not so much of, it's more about, more people can find out because of social media. It's who is helping now. Because I'm going to be real honest, back in those days when they did the bus freedom riders, they did the lunch count sit-ins, the March on Washington, Selma, all those different types of things, it wasn't just Black people out there. It was all people out there that were allies for what the message was for civil
Absolutely.
rights. It wasn't just black
And
people.
it should be that way now.
Right,
Mhm.
and I'm saying 2020 is the reason why it's spreading now because it's not just black people now.
Yeah,
There's
it-
more.
you're right.
It has nothing to do with media. It's more people getting into it because they didn't have social media back in the day.
Right. No, I'm just saying. I was just saying it was and like it's an additional way for people who were marginalized to have a voice at times.
And the thing about the police is the police only control areas where they feel that the people are lesser than them. Because in certain counties in St. Louis City, they're not policing. They're serving the people in that area.
I know.
In certain areas of St. Louis, they're policing the people. I do not agree that the police are taught this way and this way. The police are trained the exact same way. In certain areas, they respond differently. And
Yep.
areas where we're talking about now, they're responding with control and disrespect. And they're looking down on the people that they're servicing. Where in other areas, they don't disrespect the people. They do not feel like they're inferior to them. They feel like they're on the same level, so they service those people. So I do not agree that if the police are all control. No, that's not true. They know how to behave, and they know how.
Oh, individually they do. Yeah. But there's a culture of the police culture is toxic.
That it goes back to what I was saying about money in jailing people, because
It's not money. It's not money. They don't care. It's not money. It's the color of the people that they're servicing. And when they can look at
But
a group of
you have to understand that ma'am, they're not going to put white people in jail, and they have to put people in jail because those jails pay people like our congressmen and our senators.
Yep.
They pay them incredible amounts of money to put colored people in jail.
No, private jails too.
white people, and the fact
Yeah, a
that they
lot of
can-
privatized.
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying. And they're not going to put white people in jail.
You're right. The fact that they can put one demographic of people in jail tells you that it's not money. It's racism. Because
It is racism.
they felt like-
We know.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Of course it's
saying it's
racist.
not racist.
Yes.
There's nobody
It
arguing
always
that it
has
isn't.
been.
But
And that's perfect. I just about the fact that economics is the basis of it because it's not. It's not. The fact that you
right. Well, I think the
Yeah.
economics just goes along with the racism that's been going on
Yes.
for a long time.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
so it's been
right.
that way, and that's
Yes.
it's just kind of the way things have developed.
It's because it keeps control. It keeps
Right,
the power.
exactly.
The money
And that's
keeps control.
control.
The money
Right.
keeps the power. And
Right.
it is.
Right. Yes.
Exactly.
a certain demographic of people oppressed.
I want to say two things too, real quick. BF, I disagree with what you said, bro, because we can change. You're right. If the system is messed up and until the system changes, are you gonna go in there? Okay. The system, we can change the system. We have the power as people vote. We have to vote, or we have to build candidates that we can believe in. We know are going to push agendas that will help us as a community. That's what we have to do. We literally have to change it from the inside.
Well,
We
so
literally
Of course.
change it from
we
the
have to
inside.
exercise our rights.
And,
It takes money.
yeah.
Now,
Brandon, what you said earlier, bro, that I think you got caught up on the gesture of what the police departments were doing by taking a knee and putting their guns down to the people. I think you took that gesture as a slap in the face. That, to me, I didn't take it as a slap in the face. All right, good night.
Good night. Nice to meet you.
Believe me, y'all.
Nicely.
Hi.
I will.
Have a good night.
I
Nice
think-
meeting you.
Mm.
It's taken off.
But so I will 100%.
I think that was them. I think that was them saying we're on your side.
Yes, I think it was.
Saying we're on your side. I didn't look at it like.
I cannot discredit that in any way, shape, or form. I cannot. However, for me, I will definitely say that I am on the very unpopular opinion on that side. Again, I might need to reiterate.
I mean, these are different departments, though.
Different departments, whether or not, look, we are all humanity.
Right,
You
and
know
so
what I would
that's what
rather-
they're saying by taking the knee.
Okay. Do you know what I would have rather have seen? All right, so here's what I would have rather seen. Instead of seeing 1,000 police officers, I would have rather seen 300, because I would have rather seen those other 700 say, you know what, I'm not going to take my pay.
You're not, you'd rather see them say, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I would rather have seen those people stand up and say, I'm not going to take my pay for today.
Oh.
I'm not going to stand up for this.
I mean,
I cannot be a part of something that continues to oppress people, including my own family members.
Yeah.
Okay? We have to, this is what I mean by we have to start taking a better stand. If we want things to change from the inside out, we need people to actually start doing things just like that. That's one of the main reasons I got out of the military. The military tried starting to take my humanity from me. No, I'm a human being first, and so is everyone else.
But G, I disagree. If those officers, if all they did was just not take pay that day, or if they didn't show up to work, now that's a statement. But if they just didn't take pay that day,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you were getting at that.
I'd rather them not show up at all.
Yeah, that would be
right.
But they weren't going to do that. They had to come to work. Maybe some of them like ran out of take off days or late days or whatever.
Or they're junior officers. I mean,
the real question that exists though is, did they have to show up that day?
Yes, some of them did because they have families.
Honestly, that is semantics. That is semantics. The problem is, you're not pro police, are you? Are you pro?
No.
Okay.
What do you mean pro police though? I mean,
like, do I donate to the fraternal order? No. Do I feel safe when police are around me? No.
You don't feel safe when police are around?
No.
I feel the safest when there's police around, and because I'm a white guy.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm a non-threatening white guy.
Again, as a white person who watched the police smack another white man in the head with a shovel.
Oh, you're in a different area too. That's
okay. But it's not about different area. It's about watching the police abuse their own damn power.
Right. I'm just saying, in 2020, I feel comfortable with cops around.
Fuck that. Ever since I was a kid,
they will protect me.
No way.
First,
look,
it's because of what you saw too, Brandon.
No, it's not also about what I thought. Look, Officer J. Montgomery, from the time that I was 11 years old until I moved to the other coast of Florida, did nothing but harass me and my boy Chris.
So you have a grudge against them
every damn day.
That's
It's
understandable.
not about a grudge. No, it's not about a grudge. It's about watching them do it because they fucking can.
Because they can, yes. That's why they do everything.
Bullshit.
It is a bullshit reason.
Chris was straight up Cherokee Indian and Mexican. Okay? And because I'm a white kid riding on a beach cruiser with a mixed person riding through the bad parts of the neighborhood, I must be up to fucking no good. So Montgomery would come by every damn day. Now this is the thing. What he didn't know is that the both of us just left a private Christian school, and I'm just going over to his house to help him study. Because I'm a smart kid and he doesn't understand English literature. Okay, but instead he's gonna pull us over. He's gonna search our backpack. He's gonna harass the fuck out of both of us for 2.5 years. For what? Because I'm on the wrong side of the tracks with a mixed kid? Come on. All right. This is what I mean. This is what I'm saying. All right. When I say like I've experienced this on my own, I've experienced it.
You're saying they should have less power?
So I don't feel safe. Give a fuck about your body camera. You can still hurt me. You can still kill me with a body camera on.
They're much less likely to with the body camera.
It didn't stop that lady from shooting that man in the middle of the damn highway in South Carolina last year.
Yes, there are going to be exceptions to the rule, but in general, when they're being recorded, it's happening less.
That's why I don't feel safe. The media has made it a point to make us not feel safe.
Right, and that's yes.
Because they continue to broadcast the negativity and their abuse of power.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for them.
As society, this is my thing. When are we as society, just like the Great is saying, when are we as society called Black Lives Matter? Because again, all lives matter. Every single life matters.
Right.
The
No,
respect
we're talking
for
about society,
man.
though.
That's
I
what
mean,
it is.
about
It's
how
the
a
respect
society
for humanity.
develops. I know, but that would be in a perfect world.
Look, during the civil rights movements, they had hoses.
Yeah.
They shot people on their front porches with paintball this time. Why? Why? Because I'm gonna be the bigger force.
No.
Because I'm gonna be the bigger force.
No, they did it. They did it.
That dude was on his patio. He was on his front porch with his family.
Okay, and let me tell you why they did it. Let me tell you exactly why they did it. Because they can. Because leadership from the very top position in this country said maximum force or whatever, that we were going to take control back and this and that. They do it because they can. This is where, see, and I get what you're saying, because I'm rooting for the exact same thing that you are rooting for, and that is change. Where I just don't buy it, and I don't mean that I don't believe what you're saying, because I'm telling you, I want what you want. I want you to understand that. That's what I want. I don't buy it because I live in a place where, look, man, in the last election, the person who got the most votes didn't win. They do this shit because they can. They've set this shit. They have set this shit up so that they keep winning. There's more of them doing the good winning than there's more of us doing the good winning, and it's because they're not going to allow us to win. And I want what you want. I want
Electoral college. You're right.
But otherwise, I mean, and then we've got the problem
I fear in this country that they will always take it away from us, because it is set up for, they have set themselves up for the victory, and they don't want us to win.
Right, of course.
And so that's why I say, like, because I fear that all of us vote. I fear that all of us vote for the other guy to win, and then they still come up with a way to say, no, fuck that shit, this guy wins because we say so. And I mean, what can we really do? We really can't do shit, because they're going to use the military against us if we decide to open up anything. So I worry.
We can fight them in court, and I know that may sound silly, but literally litigation in the United States of America is how a lot of shit gets done. And I know that it's far-fetched, and I know it's like, well, how
there's going to be lawsuits from the protests.
But if we, like, I look at it like this.
They have already
times where we blindly follow things.
You say litigation, but they've already set up the judges. Do you understand that?
Well, that's where you come in with the other thing. Well, really, when you come in with the other thing, I talk about where you take it. You know, that's another thing. But you get also local voting. I think local voting is where we can have the most power.
Yes, local politics.
People know more about their local fucking
even state politics,
basketball team, their baseball team, then their fucking mayor. Literally, locally, dog, is where we can do the most freaking good, and we can do that shit ASAP. That's the shit where we can money and go find out some shit and do some shit where we can actually make some change.
Yes.
And that's where we have to start, BF. You're right, they got the Supreme Court judges that they want. You know, they threw Clarence in there. They threw Clarence Thomas in there when we was kids, and people thought he was going to do something. And real people knew he wasn't going to do shit, and he literally has it.
He was a Republican.
It's not just the Supreme Court. Is what
the Supreme
I'm
Court
saying.
is just the extreme.
They have rooted a lot of judges in on smaller levels. All I'm saying is they are still continuing to set the game up that it is against us. Yes, that's all I'm saying.
I can guarantee you, as someone who is part of it, and fighting it, it is fucking rigged, and it's rigged.
That's all I'm saying is
completely, and it's not a fair fight.
So
It is, but BF, where you live at, do you have an opportunity to vote on judges in your municipality or
In our state, yes, we can, but but the problem is nobody knows how to. What? I vote on judges every time, and I send emails to people on which judges to vote
You
for.
got a dip?
What?
You got a dip?
Yeah, right.
okay. Here's the deal.
I lost. I can't. There's too much going on right now.
He's got to take off.
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to interrupt, man.
No, it's it's cool, man. Absolutely. Good talking to you. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, so yes, we
Have a
can
good
vote
night,
on
guys.
judges. That's a fact. But here's the thing.
It's hard to know what
Just because we vote on those judges, it doesn't mean that that when they get in there that they're going to be like, oh, well, this guy, he might have voted for me or he didn't vote for me.
No.
It is, and the problem is, and the judges, not just on the local level, but on the more like, if you've been following the government level, those judges, Mitch McConnell has been seating judge after judge after judge.
Trump.
Government.
Trump does it.
Well, but you know what I'm saying.
But I mean, he's the only
overall,
one that's allowed to actually appoint a judge. I understand.
but
Federal,
you get
Article
the
3.
whole point is that they're all still seeding the game. They're still rigging the game,
of course,
so that it goes forward against us. And it's not that I don't want what we all want. Of course, I want us to all just be treated as human beings. I mean, of course, that's of course. But I fear that we live in a place where the whole game rigging has been going on for a very long time, and I just don't see us at being that close to an end, because I truly believe that if we get rowdy about it, they'll use the military on us, and it won't be a thing for them to do it, because that will be their ultimate end game. Is like, look, now we have a reason to take out all of them, and that's where we're going to be.
I mean, we just took a quarantine for three months straight with nothing. We just accepted it, and then we don't have facts on anything. I mean, we just said, sure, we'll stay at home for 3 months, not get paid, not have school for our kids, not work.
They stopped the wall.
We just did it based off of what? I mean, we have scientists that are biased. Yeah, because they told us to. Because the biggest man, literally the biggest man in Illinois told us to, but also Figure took it.
We have been taught.
And we accepted it.
We have been taught enough visions of use of power to listen when they say stay the fuck home for the next 3 months.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we've been conditioned.
Well, see, and they control us by fear. And until we can change the political landscape and do something about it and make a difference, I mean, we're all going to be, it's not respect that they want. They want to control us by the fear and intimidation that's instilled in us.
Because that's true power.
What's the next step?
Exactly.
What's the next step in making peace as the movement?
I just got to keep plodding on the front line. That's all I can do at this point.
I'm involved at the local, the state, and the national level with different campaigns all the time.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying
because I'm trying to make a change.
We still have such a problem.
Of course.
I mean, when I'm representing, 2-3 black guys a day in felony court, we have a problem, and it almost seems too big to solve. But the biggest problems start with small steps. So
of course,
there has to be some small step that can go in the right direction. But we can't take on a huge step right away because people will fear it.
I believe that we are taking that small step. People, all of us from all around, getting around, and even just talking about it like we are right now. I believe that those are the small steps that are being taken.
Letting the issue die. Exactly. Not letting people die.
Yeah, we got to live it.
whether we start to create a campaign, Global Dane Commission, Global Dane Commission.
What was that?
Whether
At least
we
you
start a
can't you can't even see
campaign-
his arms. At least you can't see him flexing his arms.
Okay. Start a campaign that unites the globe in peace and in love and in oneness and in community.
Right.
That would be
Maybe
perfect.
that's a way.
I love it.
What is it? G.
I'm gonna get shot, by the way. Like they're gonna find me. I'm gonna be a shot like Lennon did.
Who? Oh, you think you're the target like John Lennon? That guy wasn't he obsessed with Jodie Foster?
I promise you that'll happen. I really feel it. I do. I feel it. I really do. Because like this is the thing. Like I've been super duper quiet. Look, let me say it this way. All right. So one of my best friends, his name is Patrick Miles, been a childhood friend of mine since elementary school. And why? Because he and I share the exact same birthday. He's African American. One of the other main reasons why he and I are friends is because once upon a day, somebody decided to call my friend Domingo a spick and decided to call him the N-word. And I lost my shit. That person wound up in the hospital that day because I lost my shit. And that's who I was for a very long time. I was physically violent against those that spoke out against race like that. Porque yo puedo hablar español también. Y para bien tiempo de mi vida, esa era un futuro para yo también. And what I just said was that for a very long time, the Spanish culture was something that I lived for myself. Because if I wanted to join, if I wanted to be accepted by the Latino family, I needed to show them that I was willing to learn their cultures and learn their languages and learn their ways. So I felt Spanish porque yo tengo un otro nombre, es Cubanito. I have another name, which is Cubanito. I had it till I was 15 years old. Porque cuando yo hablo español, when I speak Spanish, I don't speak it like a normal Spaniard does. I speak Cuban. It's what I grew up in. You don't hear every letter. You hear maybe every other vowel, but you don't hear every letter. That's how Cubans speak. And it's just what I grew up in. But again, at the same time, so Patrick Miles, who's my best friend, same birthday and that kind of thing, he is my best friend there. So I take offense to that word. I watched Patrick Miles get called that word by a grown-ass woman once upon a day, and it stung me to my heart. And this was before I even knew he and I shared the same birthday. But even more so, again, my closest friends, my next-door neighbors, African-American family. Again, so when I heard that word, like, look, that family accepted me and my family as family. We celebrated birthdays together. We had barbecues together. We played basketball, murder ball, football. We grew up together. And not once for 15 years while we lived next door to one another did we ever see fucking color. Not once.
You ever see what?
Color.
Okay, we get there. So what is that? So what are you saying?
So what I'm saying is this. I mean, again, like growing up, that's who I was. I fought and I fought and I fought and I fought.
Yeah, that's good.
Like my parents pulled me out of public schools because I fought over race so often. They figured putting me into a private school would make that different. Nah.
Yeah. Okay. So, but we got.
But now as an adult, and obviously over the course of the last long while, I've understood that violence is not the way. That's not going to prove anything.
So as we get back towards the topic at hand, which is, I mean, we're talking about police brutality.
Right. What's the next step?
And what's acceptable, and how big can the next step be? How small should it be? What's next?
How do we peacefully fight back?
I think
without being paintballed or shotgun shot at.
I think the way we can fight back is you literally using our voices on Twitter to say shit that you may not feel comfortable saying before, and say it now, and direct it towards, people that you will not agree with it. Speak out on shit. And another thing I wanted to say earlier, Brandon, I'm saying this to you because I know you, and I know you a good person. you God's perfect moron, man. You a good fucking dude. But if I didn't know you from a can of paint, and I saw you online talking about some all lives matter right now, that's a slap in the face to me as a protester. I'm literally about to go
As a
take
protester, as a
tomorrow.
black person,
There
it's
were protests in St. Louis all weekend. There were protests in St. Louis all weekend. I'm going to take my family to go protest tomorrow. Which if somebody dares bring their ass up there on some all lives matter type shit, that's some shit that will get them cussed the fuck out, because that's like me going to a breast cancer rally yelling about, well, what about testicular cancer?
yeah.
What about liver cancer?
I don't think.
What about those cancers?
I don't think that's what he's saying. I think. I mean.
What breast cancer? What about, like,
Thank you, Jay Golds, because I spoke to my cigarette. But yes,
Yeah, I don't think he's saying that, you know, that I don't think he's saying that it's all lives matter. He's just saying, you know, that the way that you should look at it is that it's all equal, and that, you know, and that, you know,
So check this out. So check this out.
it's that Black Lives Matter as much as anyone else's life should matter, and they should.
You haven't seen people doing that. Brandon, you haven't seen people doing that? Like, they don't give a fuck about the message. They're just running in talking about all lives matter and fuck Black Lives Matter.
And they don't like them. No,
there's
there's a lot of people with a lot of cognitive dissonance. It's just what people are irrational.
It happened to me with one of my closest friends on Facebook today. It did today. And it was on Facebook, and the meme was talking about Black Lives Matter. And ultimately, it was the misunderstanding of one person to another going, you know, you standing here is stupid. And he's all, but you're misunderstanding why we're standing here. And ultimately, at the end of it, that person's mind was changed and said, yeah, okay.
Right.
So my again, a very good friend of mine reached out to me and was like, yo, please stop spreading this crap. I haven't even had a chance to reply to that yet, because I've been doing these since I got.
Let me jump in, because we got to get going over here. But I just wanted to touch on I want people to understand, everybody who listens to this seriously. When you say, I don't see color, and I understand what you mean. That you're just trying to be cool and you're trying to say we're all equal. But to be honest, as a Latino male myself, a person of color, we want you to see our color. We just don't want it to fucking matter what color we are.
Right.
We want you to see our color. We want you to see that we are black. We want you to see that we are Latino. We just don't want it to fucking matter that you saw us as that first. That's all.
Yeah,
but hey, y'all, it's been a pleasure.
That's perfect, man.
We got to get the fuck out of here. Oh, thank you. I'll catch all y'all later.
All right. Have a good night, guys. Hey,
you too.
Pleasure to talk.
Take care.
Always.
On that note,
Yeah, it's well spoken.
Y'all got anything else? I think he set up pretty perfectly right there. Dar, Puff, anybody got anything else?
No, I like that. That really kind of put it together. I like that. I think that there's enough. If there's enough people who have the right direction that they know is to go. I mean, hopefully this is a learning experience and a turning point. And you know, I want to be optimistic.
Right. Well, see, can I just say something real quick on here?
You know, I just think that all these issues have been around for a great number of years, and you know, things are being orchestrated, things are being escalated. I think, you know, police have always gone into policing, whether they've had their own private mental health issues or not. And I think with all the COVID thing, I think those issues in some of the police officers and all the increased stress has escalated things. And I think that is part of it. Then you have all these people being locked in at home, that don't have anything to do but to turn to social media. And so people are being scrutinized 300% more now. And everything that's been around for for 500 years, you know, here, there, you know, even, you know, the nursing home conditions in Ontario and even in the USA, you know, all this is now a big focus now because everybody is at home. But the thing is right now is the more control that we relinquish to the government, we're not going to fucking get it back. That is the thing. And that is the tipping point, and that is the real issue here. Because if we give that control away, we're not going to have a leg to stand on to fight for anything.
I think we can get that back. I disagree. I think we can get that back.
You think? Okay.
I hope so.
Okay. I hope so too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I can tell you what they did with the pot laws over here when they legalized cannabis, and they slid on all these stiffer penalties in Bill C-45 and Bill C-46. You can't cut your lawn on your riding lawnmower and drink a fucking beer over here. You can get a ticket for it now. Seriously, oh yes. They can come on your property if they think that they have just cause, and they can say any goddamn thing they want, and they can come on your property and give you a ticket for drinking that beer on your lawnmower. Yes, they can. Look it up. It's in the laws.
There's some tons of ridiculous laws.
Oh, it's disgusting the shit they get away with. You know, the government.
What are we gonna do? We can't fix everything at the same time.
No. But I just don't want to see anybody get hurt more. You know, I just don't.
Amen.
Andre.
Yeah.
Wrap it up, man.
Oh, all I was saying, or gonna say rather, is around here, you know, we're protesting together. Brown, black, and the whites that are here. You know, we're unified in the protests that are going on here because those people who actually know and care about what's going on are trying to make a difference. But we need more of those people standing up and coming forward. Not only doing that, but like I said, we need to change the political landscape, because as long as they have the control of us, they control us by fear and intimidation, and that's not going to change until we change it. And we got to go one step at a time till we get there.
Amen.
Got anything, GPM?
I am good. I will close with what I always close with, which is, family, listen, please be good to yourself and the world around you. Because again, it is respect for humanity, kindness. And I truly believe that if we were to start showing that respect for one another, regardless of your background, regardless of your nationality, we start respecting one another just for the fact that we are human.
Amen, brother.
That's it. That's it right there.
It's what you'll hear every day on my account. That's what I say to everybody. That's why it's always peace and love and chicken grease. Be good or be good at it. It is my dream for humanity to finally come together, just like BF was saying.
It'd be nice if we have less lip service and more action.
There you go. There you go.
Exactly.
That's what we need. That's what we need. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Brandon, I want to see GDC be on some action with this movement that we see in front of us right now, man. If you want me to, I'm going on a protest tomorrow. You give me something that you want me to wear to rep the GDC, we can do that. You will grab so many more people that you see that you are on this movement in that way, shape, or form. Because look, you've seen the tyranny of police most of your fucking life, man. You see how fucked up they are, and they treat everybody fucked up, and it's evident now. But more importantly, they're just constantly killing black people, man. for bullshit ass reasons, because they pissed at their wife, because they didn't get the promotion they wanted, because they mad at their partner, because they mad at whatever the fuck. They're having a hard fucking day. They don't want to use the training they were given. You know what I'm saying? It's so many fucking things. I just want to see this organization that I'm a part of. I want to see us do something. You know what I'm saying? Some type of action.
We have
like
to.
Jonathan
We have to.
said, yeah?
With that, I 100% agree. And so I will say this. I mean, I know that for myself, there are no protests going on where I'm at. Where I live is it's a very older community, and so even amongst them, those people just want their bacon and their eggs and their ham and pancakes first thing in the morning, like, and that's all that their main concern is. I mean, they're just happy that there's somebody there to be there for them, and that's what we're there for.
Shit.
But at
Yeah.
the same time, like that same action and behavior needs, again, I can't stress it enough. It needs to be reciprocated in everyday life. I mean, again, like, I wish that there were protests nearby. I know that for MJG, I know where he is up there in Philly. I know for a fact that there are protests going on. I don't know, like, I know he has his daughter that he's taking care of, and that, like, I know he is considering the options of going down there and doing that, putting himself on the front lines as well, to actually put himself in a t-shirt, stand up, and say something as well. So, I mean, again, like, if you have one, by all means, please wear that.
Oh, no, I don't even know. Where can I get them? Where can I get one? I don't know.
As a matter of fact, if on Twitter, if they visit the Global Dank Commission page, which is again just at Global Dank, there is a link at the bottom of our bio that will send you to the store. That within that store, there's like 11 or 12 different logos that we have that they can put on coffee mugs, they can put on tank tops, all different types of t-shirts, long sleeves, hoodies. There's tote bags. There's all types of different merchandise that can represent the Global Dank as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, again,
we start to see on that, and I love that. I'm glad. Thank you for putting that out. I'm glad you let the people know where that's at. Can we start to see on that same page, on the Twitter page, on whatever, more of a social presence when it comes to what's going on? Because I think that'd be a good first step. You know what I'm saying?
I 100% agree. And yes, you absolutely have my word on that you will start seeing presence on that.
Hey, you green light me, I'll do it too. You know that.
I had to,
there and in person, brother.
Of course. I mean, I would actually, I urge any and all of the PR directors. So that would be at PMR420, which is the dude. There's also Sancho's 420. So that's Sancho's Belafonte. There's Joseph Conrad, which is at 420 Lee Style. There is actually also our new PRD that is at Queen Diva 420. That is Small Town Weed Queen. There is also, in fact, the guest that just left the show that is at BF 506. Again, so by all means, you guys are more than welcome to come over to the GDC page and pick whatever you put up. Please, by all means, represent this community in some way, shape, or form. Stand up for what is right.
I'm tuning in, guys. Good night.
Dar is sitting right there as well. I mean, again, the queen, the legend of the community, she just left us as well. I can't believe she's sitting right there and I completely missed her. Oh my goodness. Again, like I just said, I urge us all to start, like you said before, to start using our voice, to start using our social media platforms, to not let this issue die, to let it be something that we live every day. And
I'll do that everywhere, brother.
I mean, again, in being the better example, I retweeted that video of those two gentlemen speaking with each other that brought the 16-year-old in at the same time, saying, but we got to find a better way. This is what I'm talking about. It's being the better example for the generations behind us of what it's like to really stand up for change and do it in a very peaceful manner.
You know what? I was confused. I don't mean to interrupt you, G, but I was confused by that. I think I mentioned it, G, when we talked the other day. by that tweet because it seemed like they were saying protesting ain't the way. If it wasn't for those people protesting in Minnesota and going off, they wouldn't have been. Them people wouldn't have been arrested. Those pigs wouldn't have been arrested for killing George Floyd.
No,
I mean,
True.
This.
one
Let's go
officer
back.
weren't even charged. They weren't even arrested. I mean, thank goodness for that protest, man.
Let's go back to the Boston Tea Party.
Boston Tea Party. Oh, let's keep it recent, man. Bump that.
Well, no, but the reason why I'm bringing this up as an example is because, again, that all they did was throw the tea off the boat. That's all they did.
Mm.
But that did not stop the powers that be from massacring people not that long
Right.
for it. That makes sense. So, like, we've been trying to stand up against the powers that be since the beginning. And the powers that be have made it a point to put themselves in black and white in the history books as something to respect out of fear.
But see, we got to be united with that message, because that's the other thing. They've put us against each other.
That's the point that I've been trying to make.
Exactly. Yeah.
before. We are on the verge. We are quite literally on the verge of another civil war, but it's a civil
Right.
war of humanity, because we are all searching for, like BF said, we're all searching for the fact that we don't, like, we want you to see our skin. We want you to see that we are beautiful for who we are as individuals, and that we all have something very important to bring to the table.
Okay, so you sound like a politician, bro. So are you for or against protesting?
I am absolutely for protests, as long as we can carry them out without destroying ourselves and what we've worked so hard to build.
Okay. So you just down with peaceful protest. Okay, I get it. As long as you down with protest, I'm just because you give a long
Peaceful protests.
Yeah,
That's that's the First
MLK
Amendment.
style, brother.
Well, no,
Yeah.
that is the First Amendment to the Bill of Rights.
Of course.
That's what it is. It's the freedom to assemble and redress. That's what this country was built on, was protesting. So
If those people weren't pissed off in Minnesota, and they just let it, because you forget. See, this is the thing. This is the thing that I'm gonna wrap this up right now, because thank you guys for this. This was great.
Oh, thank you.
This was a great conversation. Man, appreciate y'all for putting this together. I want to wrap it up with this. People act like this is just about George Floyd. This ain't just about George Floyd, man. This is about Philando Castillo, the brother that lives in Minnesota. A couple years ago, he's in the freaking car with his girlfriend and the girlfriend's daughter, man, like 3 years old.
yeah.
And the dude, he's telling him what he's doing. He's not even moving, and this pig just shoots him like right in front of him. And then he's like, and the pig's like, "What'd you do that for? What are you worried about?" "I don't know." He's all scared and shit. What the hell is that? Like, it's just that. And Breonna Taylor, the sister that was just killed, and it's just so many of us this happens over and over again. When we protest, when we get upset, when shit gets crazy, it's because of all of that. And also, too, you do have other people that video was shown with this one especially. Please don't forget this part, Brandon. There's a lot of people in here fucking shit up that's not a part of the movement. They really just down there just fucking shit up just to be fucking it up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But literally, the people that you see that are legitimately pissed off, that's us. We have a legitimate beef right now. We are legitimately pissed off. Y'all,
Yeah.
You know, man.
You have every right to.
Of course. This was a
it was a
tipping
pleasure.
point that was a long time in the coming.
It was. It really was.
Nice.
Man,
Yeah, it's nice talking to you guys. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. This was a great show. Hey, this is another episode of High for Glass. We do Rona Chronicles. Same thing like we always do. Keep smoking. We out. Peace. You know what I'm saying? All right, man.